Hello, my loves. So, I wanted to create another video, and this is like, I guess, an update on my life. So, the last month or so, I feel like I've been going almost through like, I remember having a dream, and it was like, it put it in the sense of like, school and stuff like that, and it was basically saying like you're going through your finals right now, so it's going through like the final tests and lessons to see if I'm ready to move on. And this last month has been absolute hell, but also like very freeing because it's a lot of releasing and moving on, forgiveness for myself, for relationships I've had, things that I haven't even really acknowledged that I've held on to. And this specific thing, so I have always had the hardest time trusting that I am as powerful as I am. I have always dimmed my light and whatever, and I've always questioned like, am I able to manifest the things that I want to? Like, where do I lie in my spiritual abilities? And I know that I have very, very strong spiritual abilities, and it's always been hard because like, in today's day and age, talking about your spiritual abilities, a lot of the time people look at you like you're batshit crazy. So I'm going to explain this story of something that happened last week. It is a little vulnerable for me, but I feel like it could, I don't even think it, I don't know. I just feel the urge to like talk about this. So for the longest time, I've had dreams about this one specific guy coming into my life. And I am almost positive I know his name, which I think his name is Michael, but I at least know for sure that his name starts with an M. But I'm almost positive it's Michael. He always comes as the same energy, but shows up differently because obviously I've never met him before in this physical life. But one of the things that I've had the hardest time dealing with is letting go of control when it comes to like trying to figure out my love life. I've been told so many times that if love is to come into my life, or well, not if, when love comes into my life, it has to take me by surprise. This I think has to do with like some past life stuff or whatever. But the like details of it and the timing and all this other stuff, that is things that I am not allowed to know. And for the longest time, I've pushed to like try and figure it out, even when I'm just kind of like, maybe it's telling me for a reason. But I was at the park last week, and I had some sort of dream beforehand that had to do with meeting him. And so I went to the park and I was listening to music, and at one point this guy came up to me, and he was probably in his late 40s, early 50s, and he asked me about my hair. He asked me like if I was naturally a redhead and whatever else, but then very quickly we started talking about astrology, and later on he was like, I've been researching about astrology like the last 6 to 8 months, and so we like started talking about that and like our different charts and stuff like that. And he sits down next to me and he says, I'm Michael. And it threw me for a fucking loop. And so we're talking, And we eventually, like, at one point he says something along the lines of the Matrix and something along the lines of, like, about dream abilities and stuff like that. And already I was starting to feel a little uneasy, because the thing is I feel everything. And this guy was nice, but I felt nothing around him. And it wasn't that, like, I felt nothing for him. I felt nothing coming from him. And then this lady came, and she, like, sits down next to him. She knows him. She's also a redhead. And she sits next to him, and they start arguing. And I pick up the vibe that they were together, and it ended really badly. And they just started arguing about infidelity, and they were just very, very toxic for each other. And eventually she turned on me, and I could just tell she was very insecure. And so she starts, like, picking on me. And then eventually, like, I'm not saying anything, Michael's not saying anything, and she's staring at me, but it's like she's staring through me. And she goes, "Don't look at me like that." And I was like, I don't know what to say. And so eventually they leave. I'm fucking terrified, because I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And it took me a lot to process, but the message I had gotten was, if you keep forcing this before you're ready, that's what's gonna happen. Like, that's what's gonna end up happening. And then, like, so I was on ChatGPT, and I'm, like, talking about my astrology chart, and I'm, like, asking about this specific interaction. And there was a couple of things that it had noted. And one of the things it had noted was, it had said, like, the reason you felt nothing is because you can find, like, the frequency abnormalities or something like that. Basically, like, he comes in my dream all the time, so obviously I know what his energy feels like. I know, even, like, in general, when something feels dark or something feels wrong, I can feel that as well. So I feel all of this. And so I knew that this was, like, a clarity moment or something like that. But also with the woman, two things. So for one thing, when I had, like, looked it up in ChatGPT, the thing that it had noted with the woman was, it said the reason she was looking through you was because this was a soul confrontation. And basically, like, that really clicked for me, because I was, the part where she says, "Don't look at me like that." Like, it was almost like, it was, because in my head I'm like, is this really happening? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then she goes, "Don't look at me like that." Because it was almost like, it was like, you're more powerful than you know. You're manifesting your reality. So, like, you're not ready for this. Stop pushing this. Let this happen when it's going to happen. But if you keep pushing it like, this is what's going to happen. Is this what you want to happen? But the other thing was it was like, I was leaving after that, because, like, I didn't feel comfortable staying there. And as I was leaving, she walked past my car, and she just, like, she didn't knock on my door. She just kind of, like, put her hand on my window, and it wasn't even, like, in a menacing way. It was like her tone had changed, and she was just like, "I see you." Like, not in, like, not in a way where she's like, "I see you." Like, it was like, "I see you." I, like, for some reason, I just keep thinking of, like, the Na'vi, where "I see you." Like, she saw more than just me physically. It quite literally felt like it was, like, this lesson, but rather than it being in my dreams, it was in reality. So that is a lesson that I have now learned in the physical, that I am stronger and or my gifts and abilities are getting stronger or whatever else, but I thought it was terrifying but also cool. So